Hello, everyone, and welcome to Uncivil Law, where we learn through the misfortunes of others. As always, we hope that you enjoy this legal education content, and today will be the day that I earn your subscription. For today's case, we're dealing with an update in the ongoing Capitol Riot cases. This is United States of America versus DEA agent Mark Ibrahim. In this case, Mark Ibrahim is a DEA agent, and he went to the Capitol with his badge and gun, and he posed for photos in which he showed his badge and gun. So, that's promising. So, possession of a firearm while in commission of felonies. Excellent. This should go really well for DEA agent Mark Ibrahim. Let's read a little bit more. As detailed below, during the course of investigation into the events of January 6th, law enforcement learned that Mark Sammy Ibrahim of Orange County, California, so he's not even a local DEA agent. He's traveling from California for this. Okay. He traveled from California, Orange County, and traveled to District of Columbia to participate in the events of January 6th. He was not there on business. Yeah. On January the 6th, Ibrahim was a special agent with the DEA, and he was carrying his DEA-issued firearm. Ibrahim was a probationary employee of the DEA and had several weeks prior to the events given notice of the DEA of his intention to resign. He wasn't really happy working for the DEA. He was in his probation period, which normally for most federal agencies is a year. So during the first year, they can fire you a lot easier than they can after that. So presumably he was within his first year, and he's decided that he wanted to leave the DEA, and he wants to go out with a bang. He was not on duty for the DEA, and he had no role as a law enforcement officer on the Capitol grounds. You don't say. At approximately 12:03 p.m., Ibrahim traveled from Triangle, Virginia, which is where Quantico is. So presumably he first visited the DEA's facilities at Quantico. So that's where he's traveling from, is Quantico. Okay. To Washington, D.C., arriving at approximately 12:30 p.m. That's pretty good time, incidentally, to make it from Quantico to D.C. So, okay, yeah. At approximately 12:53 p.m., the crowd began to break down the fencing and bicycle rack-style barricades at the foot of the U.S. Capitol grounds and enter the grounds. Below is a frame taken from a video posted to the internet at approximately 12:53 p.m. showing that the fencing and cordoned-off areas, signs indicating the area were closed off by order of the U.S. Capitol Police, were posted at regular intervals. They can be identified as white squares on the fencing in the image. A close-up sign is also figured. So yeah, in figure 3, we have pictures of the fencing, and we can see the white signs stapled along the fence in fairly regular increments. And then we see the sign, area closed by order of the United States Capitol Police. So, you kind of had notice of that, yeah. Historical cell data shown in figure 5 shows Ibrahim arriving at the area of the Capitol grounds. So yeah, we have his cell phone data. Now, I'm just curious, not that it matters one way or another, but I'm curious if this cell phone is a DEA issued cell phone or not. Not that it would, make it harder to get the search warrant, but I'm just curious if they even had to bother, because if it was a DEA cell phone, they don't need a warrant to search their own phone. So, just curious, how is he tracking himself today? At approximately 1:09, Ibrahim posed for several photographs in which he flashed and displayed his DEA badge and firearm. How helpful. Ibrahim's friend took the photos at his request. Figure 6 shows one of the photographs. So, yeah, there we have Mr. Ibrahim here. He is posting with his flag in his Tim Pool style beanie. Looks a little like Tim Pool, and he's wearing some sort of a flannel overshirt. And yeah, that looks That looks like a lot like a DEA badge. I wonder, however, we will figure out who he is, with his face clearly exposed and his badge clearly exposed. However will we identify him? I don't know. The photographs are of such high resolution that the serrations on the slide of his firearm are visible. Fun. Figure 7 is a crop of the photograph. So he's taking really high quality photographs, and yeah, there we go. That close, and yeah, we can see the serrations on his firearm. We got it. See that he's got it in a holster. He apparently carries it at a 1 o'clock cant. So fun. We see the U.S. Special Agent DEA badge. You know, we got that. Yep, he's carrying a firearm. At approximately 1:45 p.m., a video of which was subsequently posted to the internet shows Ibrahim carrying a flagpole bearing 2 flags back to back. The first flag has a white background with a blue solid 5-pointed stars and the words "Liberty or Death" inscribed on it, commonly referred to as the Troutman flag. Okay. The second flag has 13 alternating red and white stripes with 13 white stars arranged in a circle in a field of blue in the upper left corner, commonly known as the Betty Ross flag. The location where Ibrahim can be seen is approximately 400 feet inside the first sense of fencing and barricades showed above. He's inside the bounds. A second cornered off area with similar fencing can be seen in the background behind them. A frame from this video is shown below. So yeah, you're inside the restricted grounds of the Capitol. Carrying your flag, ma'am. Okay. At approximately 1:57 p.m., the barricades on the northeast side of the Capitol were pulled apart by the crowd. A video posted to the internet shows the crowd pulling apart the barricades. A frame of that is shown below. At 1:59 p.m., a video was posted to the internet in which Ibrahim and a relative can be seen walking on the lawn of the Capitol's grounds alongside the north side of the building, heading towards the northeast side of the Capitol building. At 2:02 p.m., security camera footage shows Ibrahim and his relative. He's bringing his relative friend along near the northeast side of the Capitol grounds. A frame from this security footage is shown figure 10 below. Ibrahim is identified with an arrow labeled number 2, and his relative is identified with number 1 below. At 12:06 p.m., Ibrahim, who had been participating in a WhatsApp group chat with at least 5 other law enforcement officers, so he's in a WhatsApp chat with law enforcement. Okay. Posted a photograph of himself standing next to one of the bicycle-style barricades that had been pulled apart by the crowd several minutes earlier. That photograph is figures 11. And we got Ibrahim with his flag and his jacket or whatever and his beanie. Yeah, okay. He looks like he's near the Capitol to me. A video posted to the internet at approximately 2:06 captures Ibrahim moving with the crowd inside the barricades near the step of the Senate with the Troutman's flag visible. At approximately 2:03 p.m., Ibrahim posed for several photographs in which he again flashed and displayed his DEA badge and firearm in case we didn't get a good enough shot the first time. Picture 12 figures one of those below. And yeah, that appears to once again be our hero, Mr. Ibrahim, with his flag and his DEA badge and his gun, and his beanie, looking a little like Tim Pool over here, right next to the Capitol grounds. Really, really proud, wants to show that off for the people. However will we identify him? I don't know. Based on his DEA badge and him looking straight into the camera, however will we figure it out? Unclear. Okay. At approximately 2:10 p.m., Ibrahim took a video of himself, which he subsequently posted to WhatsApp group chat. That would be the one with the other law enforcement officers. Standing in the crowd on a patch of grass above the United States Capitol Visitor Center. This location is approximately 100 feet inside the east barricades that have been overrun. Near the end of the video, the camera pounds around to the rest of Ibrahim's face. 2 frames for this video are attached as 13 and 14. So we got number 13. And, if he needs a photo for his dating profile later, I have to say, number 13, it's workable. It's workable. Got, good look going on. Figure 14, we got him in the crowd there with the flags and lots of people waving the American flag as they try to overthrow the seat of the U.S. government. How fun. At approximately 2:30 p.m., one of the other law enforcement officers participating in the WhatsApp group chat with Ibrahim posted, "You are carrying your duty weapon and your badge credentials. I need to know this, Mark." Yeah, the other law enforcement officers are like, you're carrying your duty weapon and your badge. Yeah. Cell site location data in figure 15 indicates that Ibrahim remained on the east side of the Capitol until 2:45 p.m. At approximately 2:45 p.m., Ashley Babbitt was shot by a law enforcement officer while she was attempting to enter a location within the Capitol building. She was taken from the building by fire and EMS at 3 o'clock. She is transported within steps of Ibrahim and loaded into the ambulance at 3:01. Ibrahim's friend, who was standing next to Ibrahim, videotaped her as she was moving past them. Ibrahim then subsequently posted that video to the WhatsApp chat. So he's there as Ashley Babbitt is being taken away and getting video of that and posting that to the video. That's great. Shortly after 3 p.m., Ibrahim, his friend, and relative continued their clockwise circuit around the Capitol grounds and entered the Peace Monument in Peace Circle at 1st Street, which is located on the Capitol grounds. Ibrahim then climbed up onto the monument. While on the Peace Monument, Ibrahim took video of himself delivering a monologue and ended the video showing the scene from the Peace Monument. 2 frames of this video are attached below. The bicycle racks, which have been surrounded the Peace Monument, are seen also below. So there he is, and taking that monologue video, looking very pleased with himself in his beanie. Great. While standing on the monument, Ibrahim posted several photographs. One of these photographs is shown below. Yeah, and he's got the Trump-Pence flag or banner up there on the monument and posing for that photograph. That's great. At approximately 3:29, after climbing down from the Peace Monument, Ibrahim again posed for several photographs, while again displaying his DEA badge and firearm, this time with his hand on his firearm. How interesting. Yeah, okay, great. On March the 15th, 2021, pursuant to an investigation being conducted by the Office of the Inspector General, United States Department of Justice, and the United States Attorney's Office, the FBI conducted a voluntary interview with Ibrahim in the presence of his attorney via video teleconference. So he's with his attorney, but he's participating in this interview. I'm not sure why, but okay. I mean, if I were his attorney, I would probably be telling him, you are completely screwed and no good can possibly come from this interview. It can only get worse. Don't do it. Exercise that right to remain silent. Your attorney being present is not going to help you that much in this case. So the FBI admonished Ibrahim that the most important thing for him to do was not lie during the interview. The FBI informed Ibrahim that he could, as he knew, be charged with lying to a federal agent or obstruction. Yeah, you can't lie to the federal law enforcement. And I'm sure, even though he's probationary at DEA, at some point he was alerted to this as part of his training. So Ibrahim admitted to being at the Capitol and acknowledged he had his DEA credentials with him, as well as his badge and firearm. I mean, the confession is always helpful. Ibrahim denied that he displayed or exposed his badge and firearm. Specifically, Ibrahim said, I have my creds, I have my firearm and my badge, but I never exposed it, not that I know of. We do know of. During his interview, Ibrahim acknowledged hearing the tear gas cannons go off. He said he heard the booms. Ibrahim said he went to the Capitol with his friend and relative. Ibrahim said he was asked to attend by a friend, so he decided to go. Ibrahim said he went along with his friend, who had been asked by the FBI to document the event. Really? Okay. So let me get this straight. DEA agent Ibrahim. Let me get this straight. Your friend says he's told by the FBI, we want you to document the event. And you had no questions concerning this. You said to yourself, yeah, that sounds about right. The DEA would pick this guy, or the FBI would pick this guy to document the event. Sure. You didn't have any thoughts about that. Okay. The FBI also interviewed Ibrahim's friend. According to the friend, Ibrahim crafted this story about how his friend was at the Capitol to assist the FBI, and Ibrahim was there helping him. Ibrahim's friend told the FBI he was not there on any formal capacity for the FBI, no shit, and that the FBI was not giving him directions or marching orders. Also, no shit. He said that Ibrahim crafted the story in an effort to cover his ass. It's not really very persuasive. According to Ibrahim's friend, Ibrahim went to the rally in order to promote himself. Ibrahim had been thinking about his next move after leaving the DEA and wanted the protest to be his stage for launching a Liberty Tavern political podcast and cigar brand. Ooh. So he's interested in his next steps after leaving the DEA. Well, I have good news for Mr. Ibrahim. I have very good news. I know what his next steps are going to be. Apparently, after that, though, he'd like to start a podcast and cigar brand. I'm telling you right now, if he launches a cigar brand, I will buy one just for the meme. So, Mr. Ibrahim, if your cigar brand comes to fruition, I will buy at least one cigar. It will be hilarious. Let us know. I fully identified Ibrahim as Ibrahim. In addition to interviewing Ibrahim, during which he identified himself as the individual in several of the photographs, I've reviewed his motor vehicle record, his DEA credentials photograph, and other identifying information. He's Ibrahim. So based on the foregoing, I believe he's guilty of the following offenses. He entered a restricted building or restricted grounds, and in doing so, used or carried a dangerous weapon or firearm. Yep. That he climbed upon a statue. Yeah. And, we're charging him with 1001, baby. We're charging him with 1001. We think we have enough evidence to charge him with lying to a federal official. How fun. So we're charging him with violation of 18 U.S.C. 1001, which makes it a crime to willfully lie to law enforcement. And because, among other things, he falsely stated that he never displayed his badge or firearm, which, he did at least 3 different times we saw. So, assuming that you can prove that's knowing, we want to charge him with 1001. That's a pain in the ass. So, yeah, Mr. Ibrahim here has problems. Thus, that brings us to the end of the case of U.S. versus Ibrahim. In this case, we learn that Mr. Ibrahim has a future ahead of him that is known and certain. He went to the Capitol Riots and inside the grounds and displayed his badge and guns several times, including sharing them on a WhatsApp group. And the other people in the WhatsApp group said, hey, are you carrying your gun and badge? Which might have put him on notice that he was sharing his gun and badge. And then he says to the FBI, I never displayed my gun or badge. And the FBI thinks he's lying. So, yeah. So that's all sorts of fun. So, yeah, he's facing some fairly serious criminal time. So we will look forward to his eventual sentencing. And that brings us to the end of the discussion of this story. Thank you so much for being part of the Uncivil Law family. If you enjoyed this legal education content, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow. We appreciate your continuing support. And until later, my friends, cheers and goodbye.